On the cold night of September 7, 1936, inside a lonely concrete enclosure at Hobart Zoo, one remarkable animal spent its final hours pacing in silence. No keeper arrived to protect it from the freezing weather. As temperatures continued to fall below what the species could survive, the animal slowly succumbed to the cold. By sunrise, it was gone. With that single death, the world believed an ancient bloodline that had existed for millions of years had finally come to an end. Official records declared the Tasmanian tiger, also known as the thylacine, extinct. The case was considered closed, but the mystery refused to disappear. In the years that followed, strange reports continued to emerge from Tasmania's vast western wilderness. Experienced park rangers, seasoned trappers, and wildlife experts described encounters with a large dog-like creature marked by dark stripes, a stiff kangaroo-like tail, and a unique way of walking unlike any living animal on the island. These were not stories from tourists or casual hikers. They came from people who had spent decades studying wildlife and could recognize animal behavior even in the darkness of remote forests. Year after year, new sightings were reported from isolated regions that few people ever visit. Some of these locations require days of hiking through rugged mountains, dense rainforest, and untouched wilderness that scientists have still not completely explored. So the real question isn't whether these witnesses saw something. The real mystery is, what exactly did they see? The animal's scientific name was Thylacine cynocephaly, often translated as the pouch dog because of its wolf-like head and marsupial pouch. Before European settlement, experts estimate that between 2,000 and 4,000 thylacines lived across Tasmania. Then everything changed. Between the 1830s and the 1920s, government bounty programs encouraged hunters to kill the animals, believing they threatened livestock. Historical records confirm that at least 3,500 thylacines were killed during this period alone. The last known captive individual died in 1936. 50 years later, in 1986, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, officially declared the species extinct. These are the accepted facts, or at least, they were. Because in March 2023, a new scientific study challenged everything people thought they knew about the Tasmanian tiger. Professor Barry Brook from the University of Tasmania published a peer-reviewed research paper in the journal Science of the Total Environment. His team analyzed the world's largest database of thylacine sightings, containing more than 1,200 reports collected between 1910 and the present day. Their conclusion was surprising. According to the evidence, the Tasmanian tiger almost certainly survived long after 1936, perhaps for several more decades. And that raises one extraordinary possibility. If the official extinction date was wrong, could a tiny population still be hiding somewhere in Tasmania's remote wilderness? To understand why this question still exists, you first have to understand Tasmania itself. This isn't just a remote island. It's one of the wildest and most difficult landscapes on Earth. The island's southwest is dominated by endless rainforests, rugged mountains, deep river valleys, and vast stretches of untouched wilderness. Much of this region remains almost impossible for humans to explore completely. Inside places like the Franklin Gordon Wild Rivers National Park and the surrounding Tasmanian Wilderness World Heritage Area, thick button grass plains extend for miles. Dense horizontal scrub grows so tightly that moving forward often means cutting through vegetation 1 meter at a time. Some valleys receive more than 3,000 millimeters of rain every year, washing away footprints almost as quickly as they appear. Heavy clouds can hide entire mountain ranges for days, while the wet ground destroys tracks and other physical evidence before anyone has a chance to find them. This is not a landscape that gives up its secrets easily. It is a wilderness that naturally hides whatever lives inside it. Satellite surveys show that large parts of western Tasmania remain virtually undisturbed by human activity. These forests still support healthy populations of wallabies, pademelons, and other prey animals that could provide enough food for a small predator living at very low numbers. Interestingly, these same remote regions, especially the northwest near Warrada and the isolated forests of the southwest, are exactly where Professor Barry Brook's research identified the highest concentration of credible thylacine sightings. Among all the reports collected over the decades, one stands out above the rest. In 1982,